Last night, my phone buzzed with a regular notification. But when I looked at the screen, my heart dropped. It was a simple message. No name, no profile photo, just a number. My brother's number. The same number that was disconnected after he died over 2 years ago. At first, I thought it was a mistake. But then, I opened the message, and what it said wasn't just strange, it was personal. Something only he could have known. Can you explain that? I thought I could, until last night. Now, I'm not sure of anything anymore. My name is Ethan, and what I'm about to tell you happened 3 days ago. My brother Blake died in a car accident in December 2022. We were incredibly close, only 2 years apart. He was the younger one. After the funeral, I personally canceled his phone plan. I watched the customer service representative do it right in front of me. So when I saw that message on my phone screen at 11:47 p.m. last night, my first thought was that someone had somehow gotten his old number. But the message read, "Ethan, do you still have that photo of us at the park? The one we took the day I broke my arm?" Nobody else knew about that photo. It was from when Blake was 8 and I was 10. We were playing in the park behind our house when he fell from the tree. While we waited for the ambulance, we took this weird selfie, him crying with his broken arm and me making a goofy face next. To him, I never showed that photo to anyone. It's been stored in a box under my bed for years. I couldn't sleep all night. The next morning, I went straight to the phone company store. The representative, Jessica, confirmed what I already knew. Blake's number had been deactivated and never reactivated. According to their system, that number no longer existed. "This is impossible," I said, showing her the message on my phone. Jessica looked confused. "Sir, this number really isn't active in our system. It might be some kind of glitch or someone using an app to spoof numbers." But I knew it wasn't that. The message came as a regular SMS, not from an app. And besides, how would anyone know about the photo? Back home, I searched for the box under my bed. There it was, the photo Blake had mentioned. Both of us young, him with his arm in a sling, smiling despite the pain. On the back, in his handwriting, "Me and Ethan, broken arm day, best brother in the world." I held the photo and cried. Blake was always the braver one of us. Even with a broken arm, he was laughing in the photo. He was the one who comforted me when our parents divorced. He was the one who helped me when I lost my first job. And now ... my phone buzzed again. Another message from his number. "You found the photo, didn't you? Remember what I wrote on the back?" My wife Rachel came home from work and found me sitting in the kitchen, staring at my phone. "Ethan, are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." If only she knew how close to the truth she was ... I told Rachel everything. She's naturally skeptical, works as an investigative journalist. "Honey, there has to be a logical explanation. Someone is messing with you, taking advantage of your grief." "Then explain this," I replied, showing her the messages. Rachel suggested we do a test. Ask something that only Blake would know. Something very specific that nobody else could find out. I typed, "If you're really my brother, tell me what happened the night before your accident." The response came within seconds. "We fought about Amanda. You said she wasn't good for me. I said you were jealous because she chose me over you. I left angry and we never spoke again." That was our last conversation. My breath caught. Rachel looked at me, frightened. "Ethan, what is it?" I never told anyone about that fight. Not even Rachel. Blake had been dating Amanda for 3 months. And I really thought she was just trying to take advantage of him. Blake had inherited a good amount from our grandfather. The night of the accident, we had a terrible fight. Those were the last words we exchanged. The guilt I've carried since then has been unbearable. If we hadn't fought, maybe he wouldn't have left the house that rainy night. How could you possibly know that? I typed with trembling hands. Because it's me, Ethan. I know it's hard to believe, but I need to tell you something important. Rachel was reading the messages over my shoulder. This is impossible, she murmured. There has to be an explanation. But the messages kept coming, each one with details that only Blake knew. The secret nickname he used to call me when we were kids, the hidden scar he had on his leg, the place where we used to hide our money when we were little. Ethan came. Another message. Do you remember our promise? Of course I remembered. When Blake turned 18, we promised each other that no matter what happened, we would always be honest with each other. Brothers forever. Truth always was our motto. I need to see you, I typed. If you're really my brother, meet me at our special place tomorrow at 8 p.m. Oak Hill Cemetery, the bench under the oak tree where we used to talk when we visited Grandpa. My heart stopped. That was exactly our special place. After our grandfather died, Blake and I would go to the cemetery every month, sit on that bench, and talk about everything. It was our ritual. I'll be there, the number replied. Rachel begged me not to go. Ethan, this isn't normal. It could be dangerous. What if it's someone trying to hurt you? But I had to know the truth. This uncertainty was killing me inside. The next day passed like an eternity. I couldn't work, couldn't eat. Rachel stayed with me the whole time, worried. Please, at least let me come with you, she pleaded. No, Rachel. If it's really Blake, he might not show up if you're there. He was always shy around new people, even after death, if that's even possible. At 7:30 p.m., I got in the car and drove to the cemetery. My hands were sweating on the steering wheel. Part of me expected to find Blake sitting on the bench, smiling like he always did. Another part was afraid of what I might find. The cemetery was empty and silent. Just the sound of wind in the trees and my footsteps on the grass. Arrived at the bench at 7:55. It was empty. I sat down and waited, looking at our grandfather's grave a few meters ahead. Memories came like an avalanche. Blake and I as children, running between the graves while Mom put flowers on Grandpa's grave. Blake making jokes to make me laugh when I was sad. Blake hugging me when I cried at Grandpa's funeral. 8 o'clock, 8:15. 8:30. Nobody showed up. Then my phone vibrated. Look up. I raised my eyes and saw something that made me question my sanity. In the shadows between the trees, a familiar figure. Tall, thin, wearing the denim jacket Blake always wore. But it was translucent, like a mirage. Blake? I called with a choked voice. The figure waved and began to approach. With each step, it became clearer. It was him. The same face, the same crooked smile, the same scar on his eyebrow from when he fell off his bike at 12. Hey, bro, he said, and his voice was exactly as I remembered. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I just watched my dead brother sit beside me on the bench, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. I know you're confused, he said softly. I was too when I realized I was still ... here. How ... How is this possible? I managed to whisper. Blake sighed. I can't explain it completely. I just know I couldn't move on yet. There's something I need to resolve first. Ethan, I need you to know the truth about my death. My stomach tightened. Blake, it was an accident. The road was wet. You lost control. No, he interrupted me. It wasn't an accident, Ethan. Someone forced me off the road. The world stopped. What are you saying? Another car followed me when I left your house after our fight. At first, I thought it was a coincidence, but it stayed right behind me for miles. When I got to that sharp curve, it accelerated and hit. Me from behind, I lost control and hit the tree. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. Who? Who would do that? Blake looked me in the eyes. Amanda's ex-boyfriend, Connor. He never accepted that she had broken up with him to be with me. Connor was obsessed with Amanda, Blake continued. She told me he threatened her, said if she didn't come back to him, something bad would happen to me. We thought they were just empty words. Why didn't Amanda ever tell me this? Because Connor threatened her after my funeral. Said if she said anything, she'd be next. Amanda moved to another city the following week, remember? She was terrified, I remembered. Amanda disappeared after the funeral, and we never heard from her again. I thought it was just grief, that she couldn't bear to stay in town after losing. Blake, Ethan, I need you to prove this. Connor can't get away with it, and Amanda is still in danger. But how? There's no proof. It was 2 years ago. Blake smiled sadly. There is proof. Connor kept the phone he used to coordinate everything. It's hidden in his house, in the attic. And there are messages, lots of messages. Are you sure about this? I asked. Absolutely. I've been able to visit Connor a few times. He keeps the phone like a trophy. He thinks he'll never be caught. Blake gave me Connor's address and described exactly where to find the phone. But Ethan, you can't do this alone. It's dangerous. Connor is unstable. Then what do you suggest? Tell Rachel. You two go there during the day when Connor is at work. Get the phone and take it to the police. I looked at my brother, still, processing everything. And then, what happens to you? Blake smiled, and for the first time since he died, he seemed at peace. Then I can rest knowing justice has been served. The next day, I told Rachel everything. As expected, she was skeptical, but agreed to help me. If this is true, we need solid proof. She said in her journalist mode. We went to Connor's house in the afternoon. He worked at a mechanic shop across town. The house was small and poorly maintained. We managed to get in through the back. Blake was right. Connor always left a window unlocked. The attic was messy and dusty. Following Blake's instructions, he found a shoebox hidden behind some old boxes. Inside was an old phone. Rachel turned on the device. The screen showed dozens of messages exchanged with someone named Tommy, who was apparently Connor's accomplice. The messages detailed the entire plan. Follow Blake, force him off the road, make it look like an accident. My God, Rachel whispered. This is a complete confession. We took the phone straight to the police. Detective Martinez, who had investigated Blake's accident, was shocked by the evidence. We're reopening the case immediately, he said. Connor was arrested that same day. Faced with the evidence, he confessed everything. Tommy, his accomplice, was also arrested. Both were convicted of first-degree murder. Amanda was located and placed under police protection. When she learned Connor was in prison, she finally felt safe enough to come home and testify at the trial. That night, I returned to the cemetery. Blake was there, sitting on our bench, but this time he looked different, lighter, brighter. Thank you, bro, he said. You were always my protector, even after I was gone. Blake, before you go, our last conversation. It was forgiven long ago, he interrupted, smiling. A fight meant nothing compared to the love we had for each other. You were always the best brother anyone could have. He began to fade slowly. Brothers forever? Truth always, I replied, tears streaming down my face. Blake smiled one last time and disappeared, leaving only the peace of knowing that justice had been served and that he could finally rest. I still keep that photo of us under my bed. But now, when I look at it, I don't just see two boys playing. I see proof that the love between brothers is stronger than anything, even death. Connor is serving life in prison. Amanda returned home and is rebuilding her life. And I finally have peace, knowing that my brother didn't die in vain. And that our last conversation wasn't really about anger, but about love. Because sometimes when you truly love someone, not even death can break that connection. And sometimes, just sometimes, those who have passed find a way to come back to protect those who remain. Blake was always my protector, and I discovered that never changed. Brothers forever, truth always.